Hi, this is Mr. Max with Sankofa Mathematics. So I've got a revision test here for ordinary level. So I guess grade 10s can also use this. Even grade 9s, there could be some aspects that you can understand. So let's get to it. So one of the tests that I gave to my grade 11s. The first one is you were supposed to use your calculator in order for you to get the answer correct to two decimal places. So root 5 times 6 times 6, which is basically 36 there. And that answer you should give to two decimal places. So let me just write down what that answer is. So it's 80.844719. So we are supposed to give it to two decimal places, but your problem is you need to look at the third decimal value. That is the one that determines whether you're going to round up. So that makes this a 9, it's 0 hundredths, which makes that a 5 tenths. So at the end of the day, the answer is 80.50. Take note, there must be the same number of decimal places in your answer as pointed out in your instruction. Okay, 80.50, if you simply write 80.5, you will be penalized. The journey that starts 9 o'clock, say 9:15 one day, and ends the other day. Here's the thing, these represent 4 hours and 33 minutes of the next day. So what I'm interested in is how many hours and minutes is 21:15 to midnight on the very same day. So if I'm going to subtract, the problem is I cannot subtract 15 minutes from 0. So I'm going to borrow an hour. Okay, so that's 23 now. An hour consisting of 60 minutes. So at the end of the day, I have 2360 minus 2115. Makes it a bit better. So I can subtract, that is 45 minutes over there. And 23 minus 21, well, that's 2 hours. Now, this is what I now know. I'm going to add the 2 hours and 45 minutes to the 4 hours and 33 minutes, okay? So that I can find the total hours or in minutes that this journey is taking place. So that is 8 over there, that is 7, and that is 6. The thing is, 78 minutes is more than an hour, so I'm going to subtract 60 minutes and I'm going to add that hour there. So at the end of the day, it's 7 hours, and 78 take away 60 is 7 hours and 18 minutes. This is how that question, some people, they count, whatever you do, just get to the correct answer. When it comes to duration, there's no compromise. When an equation is written in the form y equals mx plus c, you should know that the m, in this particular case the 5, represents the gradient. So when it says write down the gradient, okay, there's no calculation, you just have to write it down. All right, and the answer is 5. So maybe some people they might say m equals to 5 or just 5. Now, when they ask you the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis, so the y-axis is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x equals to 0. You can calculate it, but you don't need to. So when x equals to 0, so you see that y equals to 7. So that is the point. So here's your y-intercept. So where there is a 7, now you must remember that the coordinates there, x is going to be 0 and y is going to be 7. Right. Question 4, write down the inequality in terms of n, using that letter n. So n Now, this is open, the tail is open. That means -1 is not included, but numbers to the right here are greater. So greater than -1. So any number greater than -1, that is satisfying the inequality in that instance. If that was shaded, then I would have put here or equal to in the answer. Question 5a, money and finance. Sarah invests 700 Namibian dollars in an account, and the account pays simple interest at the rate of 2.5% per year. You are supposed to calculate her investment at the end of 6 years, not just the interest. So you're going to say the investment, the value of the investment, which is like the total amount, would be that simple interest, which is 700 times the rate of 2.5% times the duration, in this case 6 years. And once you have that, you're going to add 700 more because you want to find the value of the investment. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can bring in your calculator. So you're going to say 700 times 2.5%, or you can put 2.5 over 100 times 6 years. That gives you the interest of 105. Maybe I can write it down, 105, and then you add 700. Well, of course, this is 805. So if someone is simply just writing 105, that answer will not be entirely correct in its totality, because what you're doing is you're not only giving the interest, but not the value of her whole investment. Part B, Maria or Maria invests 700. The other one was Sarah, so this is Maria. She invests 700 in an account paying compound interest at the rate of R% per year. At the end of 17 years, the value of her investment is $1,030.35. You are then supposed to calculate the value of R. Now, what you know from the formula is that the formula is 700 1 plus the percentage points, which we don't know is R, raised to the number of years should equal to 1030.35. So basically, that's where we are at. And then I have 1 plus R over 100 raised to the 17th power equals to 1030.35. We're going to divide that by 700. Now, whatever that answer is, so I've got 1 plus R over 100. I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to raise it, to take the 17th root of that answer, because remember, in order to get rid of that power, I must take the root, 17th root. So let's bring in the calculator and I can go ahead and say, okay, the 17th root, and make sure that you know where your root button on the calculator is. So it's somewhere over there. So I'm looking for the 17th root and I come inside here. I have got 1030.35 and that should be divided by 700. I get a calculated value of whopping 1 point. Let me just write down what I have here. 1030.35 divided by 700. So it's 1 plus R over 100. Well, that was 1.23, I believe. 023. Okay, let's just correct that one. It is 1.023. See what else is there? 000000133. Okay, anyway, how many zeros? Correct. So we are now going to subtract 1 from both sides because we have got that -1 here, -1 here. So R over 100 is going to be 0. If you take away 1 there, 0.023 and so on and so on. And the next step that we are going to do is we are going to multiply both sides by 100 in order to get the R alone. And when you multiply by 100, that comma is just going to move 2 places, okay? So the answer is about 2.3%. Okay, or R is 2.3. So that is an acceptable way of solving this. There is no need to do logarithms. All right, you get the same answer eventually, but no need. You can just take the 17th power of that, and then you can sort of solve that. All right. Anyway, 2.3 is the answer for the rate. Question 6, y is inversely proportional to the square root of x plus 4, all of it. So y is inversely proportional to the square root of x plus 4, all of it. All right, you can put it in brackets if you want to. So that means then in the equation is going to be y equals to the constant of proportionality that we are going to calculate, and then x plus 4. Right. Starting with that, they are now giving us information. They say x equals to 5 and y equals to 2. So 2 equals 2. So k over the square root of 5 plus 4. Well, the square root of 5 plus 4 is 9. So I have got 2 equals to k over the square root of 9. So that k is going to be 2 times the square root of 9, which is k is equal to 2 times 3. In this particular case, k is equal to 6. Right, so my equation now is y equal to 6 over the square root of x plus 4. Right, now they tell me when x equals to 77, so that's y equals to 6 over the square root. So I've got 77 plus 4. And here's the thing, 77 plus 4 is nothing but 81. Okay, so 81, so this is going to be y equals to 6 over the square root of 81, which is 6 over 9, which you can actually simplify to 2/3. Rather work with fractions as opposed to working with a decimal, because a decimal of 2 over 3 is 0.6 recurring. Question 7, well, some basic set questions on Venn diagrams. So this is the overlap, so that is A intersect B, intersection B. That is for 1 mark. Right, then they're asking you to find the number of elements that you find in set C. Well, that is very easy. You can just go ahead and count them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5. Please do not put this in brackets. If you don't put it in curly brackets, you will be marked wrong. We are looking for the cardinal value, cardinality of the set. That is the actual number of elements that are found within that set. The moment you put square brackets in there, you are now introducing another set. Well, we have got inequalities. So we are going to draw these 3 inequalities. But the first thing is we're going to have a line. So we're going to draw the line y equals to 1. We're going to draw the line y equals to 2x plus 2. We're going to draw the line x plus y equals to 3. Okay, so here's the thing that that I want you to remember, and I'm just going to bring in a page. I'm going to insert a page. Let's say we're going to take something like that. Okay, might be a bit too out there, but if we have our Cartesian coordinate system, so that is 1, that is 1. The line, and let's suppose I'm saying you have 1 here. So the line y equals to 1, but the inequality was y is greater than 1. So that has to be, lines y equals to 1 is a line that is actually, so if my 1 is over here, it's a line that will be parallel. So to the x-axis, so that being the x-axis over there, that being the y-axis over there. Okay, so if I was to draw that line, and this is where I need you to be a little bit more careful that line would be a dotted line. Okay, it will be a dotted line. So it will be a line that goes something like that, dotted line. The other one that we are supposed to draw is y equals to, maybe you can make it a bit thicker, y equals to 2x plus 2. Right, you can have the y-intercept. If y equals to 0, what is going to be the value of x? Well, x will equal to -1. So if you look for the coordinate of -1, 0, that is a point that is going to be, let's suppose, somewhere here. Let's say I have my negative somewhere here. So that will be the point somewhere there. And if I make the same equation, but now I'm making x to be 0 in order to find my y value, then y equals to 2. So that is 0, 2. Okay, so the point 0, 2, if this is 2 somewhere here, that will be the point there. Okay, so this will now imply that I am bringing in another line, and again the inequality for this one, if you remember from our answer, was y is less than 2x plus 2, which means it's also going to be a broken line. So all of these two have to be dotted lines. Okay, very important. So I'm going to have my dotted line, and maybe going to make it a bit more thicker. So the dotted line is going to go all the way from here, well, all the way up to there, like so, for example. Okay, the other one is obviously going to be something like that. Okay, I'm just giving you a rough indication. Then the other line that we have is x plus y is less than equal to 3. So this one here, if we make it a line, it will be a solid line because of the or equal to. All right, solid line. And it's very easy to draw this line. So you have the equation x plus y equals to 3. So you can say 0 plus y equals to 3, then y equals to 3. So you have 0, 3. Then you have x plus 0 equals to 3. And then you have x equals to 3. So you have the 1.3, 0. So that's basically it. So you're going to go where 3 is. Say, suppose 3 is here. And let's say 3 is over here. And then you're going to draw that solid line. Okay. And we're going to draw the solid line. And this line has to be solid. So it's going to go from here all the way up to there. So at the end of the day, here's something else that is worth mentioning, because our shading will play a very important role. When we are looking at this inequality, y is greater than 1. Values that are greater than 1 are on top. So we are going to shade what is below. Okay, because we leave the unwanted region is the required region. Okay, so we shade the opposite. When you are shading y is less than or equal to 2x plus 2, okay, that means we are going to shade above this line, because on this side, if you were to choose, and let me just help those people who have a problem with choosing. Suppose you choose the point, this particular point, relative to this line. This point here is the point 0, 3. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down a bit. So that is the point 0, 3. The line we're looking at is y is less than 2x plus 2. This is x and that is y. If I put my 3 here, you will realize that when you are calculating this, 3 is not less than 2. So what we are shading the unwanted region. So that is the region that we are shading, okay? That's above. So less than, the required is below, we shade above the line. Similarly, where you have this line, x plus y is less than -3. So we leave the one below, we shade above the line. that is where our shading is supposed to take place. The only important thing worth remembering is these dotted lines over here that you can easily make a mistake. All right, these dotted lines, those two have to be dotted, and the other one over there, very important that you remember, should be solid. If that is not the case, then there will be a specific problem. And then they said you must put R there in the other region. Okay, all right, so let's go to the question and see what is it that again we're supposed to do. So I'm just going to make it smaller so that the area can fit. Y is greater than 1, so that means I'm bringing in a dotted line. Again, let's make it a bit greater than 1, so Y, that line, perhaps I can start all the way up to there. And remember, we're shading what was below, so can go ahead and shade below that line. All right, and then, well, it's totally up to you if you want to go with your shadings. I'm just gonna end up there, and the next line that we are supposed to bring in, was the one from 3 to 3. So maybe it's that here. That one is supposed to be a solid line in any case, because it is included. So 3 to 3. Okay, and again, my shading for that one is supposed to be on top. So it is basically, this is the part that you are supposed to shade when you are doing your shading. All right, and then the last one that we are supposed to shade was the line, this one, y is less than 2x plus 2, which we know is a dotted line because there is no or equal to there, and it was from -1 until 2, remember, when I was doing on the other work. And I said what we need to shade, what is above the line. So this region is supposed to be shaded. Very important for those dotted lines. If not, you'll have a problem. And then they were asking you to label the region that satisfies all these three inequalities, to label it R. Good. Question 9a, they are saying these two triangles are mathematically similar, and well, you're supposed to find the value of x, so corresponding sides of a similar triangle are going to be in the same ratio. So as you can see that this 3.2 is corresponding to 2.8, so I can go ahead and either say put the 2.8 over the 3.2, small over big, and then I have the small 1.61 over small, or the big one, or the other way around. Okay, someone else could have said, okay, the big one over the small one, and the small one or the big one over, because the x is big, over the small one, which is 1.61. Because you are cross multiplying anyway, okay, you're cross multiplying anyway, you are going to be getting the same answers. All right, so in this particular case, you get x equals to, so that's 2.8x equals to 1.61 times 3.2, and then x will be 1.61. That answer there, you divide it by 2.8. Okay, remember this is 3.2. Let me just correct it nicely. So that one is 3.2. Again, you grab your calculator quickly. You say 1.61 times 3.2. That answer there, you divide by 2.8. Well, that gives you 1.84, which is the required distance. All right, anyway, you get to the same answer. When you are dealing with part B, again, you are supposed to be familiar with capacity and the relationship it has to volume, as there is that proportion between the two. So what you're told is the big one has a capacity of 7.8 liters, The small one has a capacity of 4 liters. You are told that the height of the big one is 11.5 centimeters, and we are supposed to find the height of the smaller one. Okay, so this is the one that we need to find the height of this one. Right, in order to do that, because volume and capacity goes together, we're going to take the volume, the corresponding volumes, and we are going to take the cube root because we need to find our constant, our k. Whatever the answer is over there, you're going to multiply it by 11.5 in order for you to find the smaller one. Okay, or you can take that and you can say, because at the end of the day, what is important is your k is calculated. So by taking the cube root of 4 over 7.8, okay, let me just see for interest sake what that value would be. So shift the cube root of 4 upon 7.8. See what that is. Okay, that's some 0.80 number. So that is our k. It's about 0.8000. And that is now what we are now looking at. So we are going to take that and multiply that with this particular answer over here. Okay, so we can say the small one. So I can say that 0.8 blah blah blah, which was the small one or the big one, is equal to something with the small one over no, the height now, sorry, the height of the small one, something about the height of the small one over the height of the big one. Okay, all right, so we cross multiply. Basically, that's how you find that answer. Okay, anyway, so we say that times 11.5, and that gives you 9.204. So 9.204 centimeters. That would be the height of the smaller one, give or take. All right, question 10, they say find the value of k. Now, when you are dividing, the bases are the same. Naturally, you are going to be subtracting the indices. So this is 2 raised to the power of 12 times 2 raised to the power of k divided by 2 equals 2 raised to the power of 5. So I don't know what I was saying, but let me just repeat. If you are dividing and the bases are the same, you subtract the indices. So I can go ahead and do that. So I say 12 minus k over 2 equals to 5. Okay, right, so this is a negative k over 2 equals to 5 minus 12. All right, so it's totally up to you what you want to do. 5 minus 12, well, that gives you negative 7. So I have got negative k over 2 equals to negative 7. Cross multiply, negative k equals to negative 7 times 2, and you have negative k equals to negative 14. Negative and negative cancel, so k equals to 14. Anyway, whatever you do, that's what you should arrive at. 7 raised to the power of y equals to 1. Well, you can write them with the same basis, because anything raised to the power of 0 is going to equal to 1, except 0 itself. So 0 to the 0 don't exist. But 7 raised to the power of 0 is another way of writing 1. That means if the bases are the same, then the indices are equal. So y is equal to 0. All right. So I hope this revision exercise helped you a bit in your preparation for examination or those things that you might be struggling with in general.